Alright guys, welcome back. This is our next video. Last time we stopped off with this video with creating a parent window, and we were able to put another child window on top of the parent window. This is our parent window, HWND, and we put two child windows. One was a static and one was an edit. Now, with the default Windows processing, we can add data into that field, but now we want to do something with it. Well, we have to fire off an event saying we're done. Well, we got to do a little bit of design to check to see if, or a little bit more programming to make that happen. So we're going to add a couple more child windows onto this window here real quick. When we add a child window onto this, please be aware that the top corner of the screen here is 0, 0. As we go along this way, it's the x-axis. As we go down, it's the y-axis. And so we have a couple child windows down here in our add controls, but we're going to add another create function. Okay, so we're going to create a new window here, and so we're going to add another one called level, and we're going to try and spare everybody my typing here, and so we're just going to throw these in real quick. And so there's level, and then so you'll notice it's pretty much the same. It's another static window. It's called level. We have to change the window handle, of course, and that's level, and we're changing the position. It starts at 100, so it's the same x coordinate, so there's 100 comma 50, and so we're putting this one down at 100 comma 90. All right, and now we want to give it a field that you can add the level, so we're going to go over here and do that, and we're going to add the level here, and this is going to be an edit window. Okay, and we're going to add that window handle, and again, these are just child windows. We're going to fix the child window here, but notice HLevel2 is kind of angry at us because we've not defined that window handle yet. So we're going to go up and add our window handles here real quick that we need to finish this exercise. There are two that we're adding here. One is our HLevel that we just added in Let's Play. So we'll have a total of 4 window handles. So we have the parent and 2 other objects. But remember, on the static window handles, we don't need to give them a label because we're not manipulating them. We're going to learn something with Let's Play. If we want to be able to do something with a child window, if we want to be able to change it, we're going to want to give you a window handle to it. All right. So now we've got 4 windows on there, and we're going to add one more. Of course, the type of the windows that we added were edit, and the other ones were static. And now we're going to add a new type of a window, something that we can fire a message with, and it's going to be button. But I want to go over the message types just really quick here with you in the class. Last week we worked with WM create and WM destroy. Destroy was basically the X window, WM create, and WM paint that painted the screen, and WM create fired off, and that's the one that we're using to, during WM create, we're saying go ahead and paint these objects. And that's called a UINT message, right? So WM create and WM destroy are UINT, but WM command says the user did something. And what we'll see in the messaging context is that we'll get a W param that will tell us if it's a command message. We're going to be able to find out what command the user gave us, and we're going to be using W param a lot. Well, it just turns out that buttons do have this on our create window, and we're not using our menu function, but on buttons are kind of unique because they actually have a menu function. So when you enter them in, it does a menu function here in the window handle. So excuse the background noise there, no big deal. But we're just rolling on here. So we're going to create a window handle called button1. We're going to put this in HWND2. That'll keep me on my toes. But we're going to have to create a button. Now, so we're going to go ahead and put a button. But what is a button? Well, we saw that like in message type in lessons 1 and 2, in an OK or a yes or a no or a cancel or a retry, return certain integer constants. Well, whenever we have a button that fires an event, we have to assign the menu constant cast to a constant. So it says H menu type button1. So it's going to fire off a WM command event of button1. But we haven't defined it yet. And usually behind the scenes, a lot of the default constants are already defined. But we're going to go right here after we define all of our window handles, and we're going to define a button. Okay, we're going to define our button, and we're going to do it right here because it's part above in our define. After our include, we're going to define the button because it's a definition. We just throw it in there. The define statement doesn't have any semicolon after it. And we're going to do some stuff with some wchar that we didn't do before. So we're going to use something converting some strings to that international format. So we're going to throw that include in there too right now because we're going to need that here in a little bit. But let's go ahead and compile this and run this and just make sure we're good. We should now have 2 static fields, 2 edit fields, and a done button. Now the done button, we can actually click on it right now, but it doesn't do anything. But we know it's tied to this event 300 called button1 that we just defined a constant for. In that we actually fire that as WM command. So just like we have WM destroy and WM create and WM paint as our UINT messages, we have one more. Now, to save the pain of me typing and doing a lot of code, we're going to go over here and grab this WM command button right here, and this will be WM command, and we're going to add this in right here. So whole new button, but it's going to get a little bit more. So here's WM command. Now notice that if it's WM command, we have to, the first thing we do during WM command is, okay, the user issued a command. So that's that UI message. But then wparam tells us, okay, what did they do? And so we automatically have another case here where we're like saying, okay, what did they do? And we're going to say, oh, they hit button1. Okay. Now, if we now inside here, we're going to go ahead and use the wchar of ename and level and with integer field. So we're just going to have some integers and wchar fields that we get initialized just to handle this button. Okay. Now we have a new parameter here called getWindow. So we're going to go ahead and notice we use the notice in the edit I said we wanted to give it a window handle. So we're going to go ahead and get HName and HLevel here. And we're going to cast these as underscore T type. But then we're going to have this special command here. Again, taking the international string that comes out of the level handle, and we're going to do WK string to integer. So it's underscore W to integer there of level, and that's going to return, and then we can write a little. So here we're actually taking stuff out of a window handle, right? And we're saying, okay, we're going to see if you're an integer, and if you are an integer, if you have a level in between 12 and 2, and we're going to say, please enter something in between that range. Else, we're going to play an applause sound here in a minute. I'm going to show you how to do that. But we're going to say welcome ename. So what we're going to do is we're going to take now notice we didn't have to do any conversion because ename is already WKRT. You with me? So they type in their name, and then we're going to put that. See, we don't have to, like in welcome, we have to put the underscore T parameter on it. But let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. And I'm going to be bad, but we're going to, it's looking for a level between 2 and 12 initially. So we're going to grab this, we're going to drag it over, we're going to enter in my name, and I'm going to say level 1. It's going to say level 2 high, please re-enter level 2 to 12. So if I enter 3, I'm going to pass that edit, and it's going to say welcome Tim. Okay? So there we've just taken that, and I just realized that I had a misspelling there, but hey, you know, that's why I'm a programmer. Used to, programmers had syntax check before everybody else had spell check. So that's one of the reasons why I went into spelling, into programming. So anyway, so re-enter about level. Level was too high because I entered in 1. So we can see that we're able to catch these messages. Now, I want to show you something different. A couple things here. First of all, where is all your stuff? I'm a little sidetracked here because I want to play with the CL pause, but I already have a function here that does CL applause. So before we can do CL applause, we have to know where all of our stuff is. Now notice I have a project here called WinVid1, okay? And so in WinVid1, which I probably is, if I come in here, under my user account in source, I have a repos or a repository for my source. And in here I have this WinVid1. And inside WinVid1, I will find the CPP files. So what we're going to do right here, real quick, is I'm going to go ahead and bring another function in called that we wrote in our character side of our class earlier. And I'm going to add that function to this directory, classCon function. But when I add that, if I want that code available to me, then I need to go over here into my source files, and I have to say add, and I have to say add existing item. Okay, so I'm going to add existing item, and I'm going to say I want to add the classCon function. Okay, so that adds, so I have a bunch of functionality in there, and one of the functionalities it has in there is a bunch of sounds. And it has more libraries in it. And these are things that we can run out to if we need to. And we're going to do, we're going to bring in some of these includes. And one of the ones that we have is, that is an old copy of that. So we don't have CL applause in there. So let me go get the correct version. There we go. We'll go over here and get the correct version of that real quick. That was an older version. Hang on one second. Yeah, that was fun. Okay. We'll just get it right out of here. That'd be great. All right. Fantastic. So I have it right here, I promise. There it is. So here's our current version. And so I'm going to just put the new version in here. I am going to replace it. A little bit of a glitch here. And I'm going to reopen it. And we'll see, of course, we have all these sounds here. So I'm going to take this sound CL applause. Okay, and I'm going to take the prototype of that in here and I'm going to drop it into this. So now ClassCon function is included in our project, and the only thing I have to do now is, if you excuse me one more second, I have to go get a WAV file. And so I'm going to go in here and put in a WAV file. So all I have to do now, our ClassCon function will go ahead and grab the applause file and throw it out there. So that's what's going to happen. So it should still compile. I haven't uncommented anything, but that's still the code. So that's all there. It does compile, and we're going to come down here now, and all that's going to do is allow us to hear a sound, and that gets our ClassCon function repository in there. And so if I put in a name and I put in correct level, so get my mouse in here, okay, yeah, get my mouse on top, and you can hear the applause sound playing quiet there in the background. So we get the sounds working, and there's some other things inside ClassCon function that we need eventually, but that code is all there, and hopefully someday I'll show that to you. Also, we can set the window name, set the window text for any window that has a window. So if we comment this out, what it's going to do is, if I run that, then it's going to set the name of the window. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to say welcome. I'm going to just throw in a name called welcome, just for fun, just so you can see. And I'm going to put in a level of 4. Now see this learn and program windows up here? If I say done, it's going to turn to welcome. So that's just the name of the window. If I hover over the window down here, it'll actually say welcome on the window. So you can actually see that down there like that. So that's what you see down in the bottom. So that's us entering in a button, and us catching a button and using some functions to take international strings and convert them into integers and do some validations. Also, we're getting stuff out of our edit fields now and displaying those on the screen. But we have one other thing. We're going to pass int level is equal to let's play. So int level can change in let's play HWND int level. But we have to define this first. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go and say, what is this int level? Well, this int level is a new function. And we're going to define it over here real quick. And it's just a short function. Okay. And what it's going to do is we're going to go down here and we're going to add it. So what it does, you're going to walk through this, it's going to display another window. It's going to be a static window. It's just going to say let's play. We're going to display it on top of our parent window for right now, HWND, and we're going to go inside of a for loop, which we're just going to go from I equals 5 until I is less than 200. We're going to display that window, but we're going to actually display that window in a dynamic position of I times 10. So it's going to go across the screen this way. And so, and what we're going to do is we're going to put up a message box, and we're going to destroy the window, and we're going to just click through it. Let's see what this does. We have to grab the prototype though. So let's grab the prototype up on top. And here is the prototype of Let's Play. Okay. And so we are actually going to have our first, it's going to be a static Windows object. Now, in the next class, we will learn how to actually convert these to bitmaps, but we're going to just add the prototype here right now. So what we're doing is we're going to validate the name, we're going to validate the level, they're going to click the done button, and then we're going to use the message box to let this object called Let's Play crawl across the screen. Not really complex, but it's a motion, and we're going to play a sound. So we're going to put in our name again. I'm going to get tired of doing this, but I'm going to say level 4. I'm going to say done. I'm going to say welcome Tim with the message box, and then it's supposed to run Let's Play, but it doesn't do anything because we didn't uncomment that line. And you were supposed to remind me. No, just easy. So we're going to call Let's Play now. It's going to return something, supposedly. Doesn't return anything yet, but it's there. So that's why that didn't work. So let's try this again. And let's put it in a level. And say done. And now we'll see in another window, we're going to put up another, and then we're going to see us destroy this. Let's look at what's happening here. As we're clicking this, we're going to flip through loop for I. We got a temporary integer variable here. We're going to go from I equals 5 to 20. So for 15 times, you're going to watch this loop through. So in Let's Play is there. If I come over here, there's a message box, get it back on top. And then, so when you say done, it'll fire that event off again, and you can just move that field across. Not a lot of complex, but it allows you to give you an idea of static objects, edit objects, what is a button, in that the children window can be, in fact, dynamic. They can actually move around. So that'll give you an idea of what we're doing so far in this lesson number 3, and that completes the lesson. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you on one of our future videos. Have a great one. Bye.